How to plan for a decent PI planning.
Hi folks, welcome back to the Everyday Agile YouTube channel with me, Jack Hughes.
If you're an organisation looking to experiment with agile ways of working, it's probably a good idea to know where to start.
What is Agile methodology? Agile with a capital A was based on 4 values, 12 principles.
We've got to where we are by having those values and principles, practices that we've learned over time in place.
Hi everyone, Jack here from Everyday Agile, and in this video I'm going to share how you can prepare in the best way possible for your next program increment / big room planning event. Just to point out very quickly, I'm not aligned to safe or scaled agile framework in any way at all. I try and remain framework or methodology or way of working agnostic. However, do I think it's a good idea to bring a collection of people together for a couple of days to see what we might get up to for the next 3 months maybe? Yes. So whether you call it program increment planning or big room planning, there is some preparation that goes into that. So firstly, make it a team effort. You, dear watcher, may be the one pulling the strings on the day, but you want to invite people to the party from day one. A weekly working group of willing volunteers may be a good place to start, especially if you're an external consultant, because you want to hand over that knowledge so the client becomes self-sufficient. Although we like to respond to change over following a plan, we'd be foolish to say that an event like this doesn't take a lot of planning. So making sure enough time and effort is invested in the planning will make sure everyone knows what to expect and what they need to prepare for. Ask yourselves, what does it look like in simple terms? For example, what level of detail will you be looking at during the event? This will help the teams refine to the level of detail needed. Luckily for you folks, these aren't just my tips. I asked for further tips from the Slack community, so here are a few. Big shout out to Jim, Adam and Dan who came up with these. We alluded to this before, but planning takes planning. Being clear on the desired outcomes can help the teams look at how those objectives can be achieved. You're never going to get it right first time. Accept that and you'll be able to move on and make it better each time. Perfection does not exist. As well as the individual team planning, flushing out any cross-team dependencies and risks, more often than not, should trump any other conversation. In general, the better the teams understand the vision and the value that is going to be generated, the better they are going to be at defining and committing to how they can get there. Some further tips: you need decent coffee and don't buy post-its from Asda. That's a special one from Dan. It might sound a bit Billy Basic, but find out where the event is going to be. Does it meet your needs as a facilitator? What's the parking like? What are the facilities like? How many screens can you have? Are you allowed to put things on the walls? That sort of thing will really open up the opportunity to make it the best event possible. If you're hosting a virtual big room planning or virtual PI planning, make sure you have extra help on hand. Extra facilitators to host and help out in the breakout rooms. Do you have the breakout rooms set up? Or do people know the tech and the tools that are going to be used? Doing this pre-work will save any dithering on the day of the event. Make it clear to the teams what they need to bring to these events, whether it be virtually or face-to-face. A really important one coming up: if you are facilitating a team, don't end up being a slave to JIRA or any other tool out there. Empower the teams to use the tools available, but enable them to capture the work themselves. Once you start working for the tool instead of the tool working for you, that is a major problem. The next tip then, folks, have some sort of virtual timer. It's in your face, it's visual, some might consider it passive aggressive, but it definitely helps keep to the agenda. It helps us remain focused and it adds a bit of jeopardy when you're listening to this and looking out for this. A slight anticlimax on that one. But having something like this can truly, really help. Having all of the stationery in one place may also make your life easier. From having the dot voting stickers ready to go, from having tape that you can make a visual board on the walls, to having the red string to map out any dependencies. All of these things, although small, can have a massive impact, especially if you forget them. And finally, folks, keep in mind you can only control a certain amount, especially if you're using an external venue, because there is only so much rearrangement of someone else's room you can actually do. If you're doing it on site or in-house, then that might be a different story. But you're never going to be able to please everyone. Something is always going to go wrong. Not everyone is going to get their vegan, gluten-free, vegetarian sandwich that they ordered. You just have to be able to react and try and solve the problems as they come. But like I said before, it is a team sport. If you are the one accountable for it, don't hold on to every little responsibility if there are people there to help you. What you can focus on is making sure you're creating an environment that promotes a sense of calm. After that, as long as the teams are prepared, they know what to expect, it's clear, they can get on with actually doing the work. Your job is to create the environment for that productive work to happen. So hopefully for your next big room or PI planning event, you can take on board some of these tips. And again, thank you to the Slack community who definitely helped me out. If you enjoyed this video, then it would mean the world if you gave it a thumbs up, and even better if you subscribed, and I'll see you next time.